Blessings and peace. Blessings and peace. And may I grant you continual growth in your inner man and in your prosperity as well as your posterity. Moving forward with this message, may it be added upon you. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I encourage you to do so. I would like you to not only like the video, but also comment. I really like to engage, my listeners, just to see where they're at. But anyways, I was actually doing some reflection. Something that I do, I like to spend, that quiet time, with myself, at least an hour, out of my day, just really shutting down all the noise, removing my cell phone, removing myself from television, the computer, from just everybody and anything, and even quieting my own voice, just to wait to hear that one still quiet voice, that voice of reason, that voice of truth, putting myself in a position to connect my spirit in me, or the God in me, to connect with the divine. And also face possible admonishment or correction. As I've matured, I know that he's not going to necessarily talk about my situation, but he's going to talk about my current state. He's going to present the same thing to me as though he presented to Adam in Genesis 3:6. I don't know if you remember, but he had asked Adam a rhetorical question. He said, "Adam, where art thou?" That's the first thing that popped into my mind. And the reason why I'm saying it was rhetorical, because I do not believe that he asked because he did not know where Adam was at. He's God. But I believe it was rather to bring Adam to the awareness of not only what he did, but for him to see if he had the ability or the integrity to present full confession of his wrongdoing and his current state of mind. See, it is in your current state of being honest with yourself that you can identify what needs to be pruned, groomed, or fixed within your manhood and within your masculine expression. See, by ignoring the obvious keeps you in turmoil and in bondage within your psyche, and it also corrupts your expression and weakens the dexterity of your character. See, God was calling Adam to his state of confession. In the Greek, that means homo legio, which means to say the same thing or to agree. So I believe God was looking for Adam to reflect his light, his spirit, and his truth and love. Because confession leads to purity, in which will lead you to his tender mercy and grace and healing. Some of us won't admit that we need to be healed. We often blame, the chaos of women. We point out the chaos within them, but we participate in the chaos. See, the thing is, if the body is sick, why are you complaining about the body being sick if the head is sick? See, the head has to be healed in order for the body to be healed. You know what I'm saying? Because what I really see in the manosphere is, oh, that thou didst. That's the woman that thou gave me, right? And we're sowing these fig leaves around our tender loins, the tender parts of our mind. We're basically hiding behind camouflage. We're hiding behind falsehood. We're hiding behind theories instead of really dealing with the actual truth. Now, if you think about it, it was the mercy of Yah to sacrifice his son in order for us to reconnect with him in his spirit, to become immortal. That means beyond our flesh, our bodies that are really just dirt and water, and as well as our fleshly understanding, our ungoverned emotions, our broken thoughts. So in other words, connecting your spirit, or connecting the spirit of you to his divine spirit of truth, love, guidance, and understanding. Now, how often do you spend time alone and waiting on his presence? Why are you afraid to sit still and wait in silence to hear that voice? Are you afraid of the correction or what would possibly be said about your current state? See, any good relationship brings a sense of stability and peace to all parties involved. And I noticed that the more secure you feel about yourself and think about yourself, the more peace, guidance, and stability you bring in your relationships. And I often test the women in my life by being quiet. Because what I'm actually doing, I'm giving them time to reflect on whether or not, if they can trust me with their heart. If I provided a safe place for them to express themselves. And if I express genuine concern. And more importantly, do I listen attentively to know where and how to motivate them to be better? Not just for me, but for themselves and for whoever crosses their path or whoever is in their circle. See, that's the benefits of having emotional competence. And it can only be developed from how you decide to weather the storms and the terrains of your life. See, the better you are at handling difficulty, the more, women, or your women and other men adhere to your leadership. Because everyone responds to strength. Everyone responds to power. And power is something that you develop from within. And how you develop that power. So going back to what I said, being still, waiting for that voice, looking for the correction, asking Yah to examine your heart, to examine your conscience. What do you mean? So examine your mind. often ask myself, am I my brother's keeper? You look at the word keeper. Keeping from error. At the end, ER. What happens when you're led to the ER? The emergency room. Right? How are you keeping your brother from error? See, when I say I'm a friend, I'm a friend. And when I say I'm a brother, I'm a brother. I think that's why I kind of keep to myself a lot, because I know who I am as a man. I know my level of loyalty and my definition of loyalty isn't the same as other men. That's why I'm very leery of what other guys complain about. Now, I don't really complain about women because I feel as though I am that I am going into a situation. And the frequency of that I am changes the climate and condition and the state of the woman. Sometimes not even just talking, it's just my presence sitting there. And I've had women come to me like, man, I would be out of control, or I'd be a mess, but I look at you and say, okay, what would Ice do? How would Ice respond to me if I was going to basically act out on my emotional tantrum or allow this foolishness to spring up? As I said before, you don't necessarily have to check or correct a woman most of the time, because she can basically see who you are actually does the correction. And what you've demonstrated is the ministry. The reason why I can say personally I don't struggle with women, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but the reason why I don't struggle with women, because I bring my struggles to God. I bring my turmoil to God. I bring my confusion to God. I bring my anger to God. I bring my hurt to God. I bring my weakness to God. I put my need before Him, so I don't have to put my need before anybody else in this world. And also, in that quiet time, you learn how to own you. You learn how to own your energy. You know how to actually facilitate yourself and that energy in whatever atmosphere. You know when to not say anything, and you know when to speak up. That's when you get wisdom and understanding. As I said, in all things, get wisdom and understanding. But I want to take it a little bit further for you. I want you to get an understanding. And that's what this message is going to do. It's going to give you an understanding. And I believe the manosphere was created, or was started in good intention, but it has gone left. Because to examine an effect without reevaluating a cause is very childish. And I used to do that until I became a man and put away those childish things. Now, you want soda, popcorn, and candy? Or do you want to know what it takes to actually acquire power and to establish it in order to get the authority and to be the authority figure in your life? See, as your mind matures, so does your circumstances. As your mind prospers, so do you. I'm not going to tell you how to smash 100 women in 1 year. The reason why I'm not going to do that, because I'm a man. I'm an adult. I don't have time to even be around. That's like when you're screening out, what, 100? So for every one, you're screening out 100. So how many women are you screening out? So I'm spending all that time dealing with women instead of basically handling my business. That's not manship. So what I'm basically saying is that women do not even make up 20% of my time, 20% of my priorities, or 20% of my thoughts. I'm having them because I'm having me. Because that I am is what they want to be a part of. But there are requirements. Absolutely. See, with me, you have to be, I command those same things. What you guys are doing is you're trying to demand those things, but you're trying to word it as though it's commanding. But you got that from me, which is perfectly fine. You're copying the right cat, but you need to copy what I actually do, not what I say. Copy what I do and use your own expression and actually become a man. Make your confessions. Make your concessions. Right? Do what I did in order to express what I'm expressing. Because you can talk like this when you hold it like that. See, the thing is, I listen to the inner voice. I don't have to listen to anybody else about anything. Because if I have a question, I know where to go. Do you know where to go? As I said before, this is something that you embody. This isn't a strategy. This isn't, something you can get from a book. I wouldn't read another book, to be honest with you. Because I'm basically attaching something that could possibly contaminate something that I have. Why would I do that? These are theories of, oh yeah, if you do this, with us you realizing that there's different variables and different variations. I can't tell you to go do this or go do that because I'm a different man from you. There's certain advantages that I have that you probably don't have. Just like you might have an advantage that I don't have. But you have to discover that. What I'm doing is putting you into the position to reposition yourself to basically find that. Just like I found that in me. See, the thing is, I want you to evolve as I'm evolving. I'm not saying I'm high on the mountain, high above. No, man. In a lot of ways, I'm very humble because I know I have flaws. The difference is I'm not covering my flaws with figs. I'm not covering my flaws with other people. You know, I'm not going to castrate myself that way. Because as a man, being a man is how you stand on your own, not who you stand next to, not who validates you, not who affirms you. You know, I came into the manosphere off rip commanding respect, not demanding respect. I received validation. I received some help from certain people, and I commend them. You know, for shouting my name out and getting me, you know, some of you listeners, which is a blessing. You know, I mean, these are people that, see, the reason why they did that, because they're not afraid of me, because they're living their truth. They know what they bring to the table, just like they know what I bring to the table. It's different, but as a collective, it works well. Then there's other guys that haven't. I'm not upset at them. They didn't have to. Because the thing is, I know what it really is, just like they know. You know, one of these days, you know, it's going to basically do what it does, because, you know, there are men that are looking to grow, are looking to heal, are looking to expand their territory. You know, and all these armchair philosophies are burning. You know, Rome is burning. See, truth is something that remains, and a man that is demonstrating and walking in cold truth will always remain. See, everything around you changes. See, in the last, I could say several months, you know, I've seen people really show their true colors. Guys that I really looked at in one way, now, based on their actions, I had to look at them in a different way. I don't really judge, you know. As I said before, I have one hand, the right hand of fellowship, that is there to lift them up. But I also have that stone in my hand, in my left hand. It's not smooth. I'm smooth. But what I have in my left hand is not smooth. Just in case you want to mention my name or say anything in my direction, I will admonish you. But I'll do it in love, not in a bastardly way. I know how to correct, because I know how to lead. And because I know how to lead, because I know how to be. There's a reason why God brought me through the things that He brought me through. So I can see things. See, you can see the light in darkness. See, I was molded and shaped in darkness. You might have visited there. You might have taken a peek and got scared. But you got to be in there with a night light. I am the light in the night. And that is what developed me.